And you may think, well, that is house made of wood is house, therefore no blow down. But in fact, no screw. So therefore, bail down. Bye bye, pig. So recently, I've been trying to tone down on the amount of layers I use, right? Because I think me, as well as a lot of other digital artists, kind of spam layers. I don't know. I used to be a 300 layer Andy, and it's not really the best vibe, honestly. When you got 300 layers and you're trying to be like, so which one of these has got my little brush stroke in there? So not the best thing in the world. Now I'm a little bit better at it now than I used to be. So I kind of average around 10 to 15-ish, depending on what's going on. But I say we do a little challenge today that can help reduce it. You could even say reduce it to 1, because we're gonna be doing the 1 layer challenge. Now I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna format this. I think I'm probably just gonna have to work background to like front. But yeah, I've got absolutely no idea what I'm gonna do. I know that I'm gonna be involving armor because I've been drawing that a little bit more recently. But besides that, I got absolutely no clue. So I say, without any further ado, without any jibber jabber, little blapping. But in fact, third pig brother, house, no break, brick, not stick, stone. Sketch time. All right, boys. So this is a sketch for the first one. So I'm gonna be honest, guys. I have absolutely zero clue what I'm gonna do for anything, the rendering or anything like that. I'm thinking I might block out the character and then the background with the lasso tool, and then do the background first, and then just paint the character as one blob and kind of work from that. And I mean, we're gonna have to see how it goes. But for character design wise, I was thinking like a elven warrior would be cool. There's no real like deeper thought process behind that. A quick little dirty background is if you get you kind of block in some of the main colors you'd be seeing. And then what we can do here is we can go blur, Gaussian blur, crank that bitch. And then what we can do, get like a almost white, and these little dots gonna be our lifesaver here. I think of it like lens flare or something like that. I don't know, it just looks pretty. That's all I got. All right, tell you what, we're riding the struggle bus right now, but we just gotta have faith, okay? Now I did save an image of the sketch, so I will be having that on the background or on the side, so I can kind of have a reference to what I was thinking for design and all of that. But I'm gonna do some speed running, and I'll get back to you when I got some more stuff happening. There we go. We got something happening at least. I'll take it. So yeah, I'm gonna do hair last because it goes on top. So next up would be some armor. And I don't really have a process for armor yet. I just kind of block in some of the shadow and then add reflections later, like after the fact. So that's what I'm gonna be doing here. And I'm thinking having like an almost black piece around the neck here, because I think that could look cool. There we go. I think that's coming together a little bit here. I'm not gonna lie, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. I was expecting this to be significantly easier, but I mean, we are skill issue central here at this channel, so I guess this should be expected, know what I mean? On a side note, I think in my head that armor design was cool, so we'll have to see if we can capture that. I think, I mean, I've been working on it recently, but armor can be super cool, like some Dark Souls stuff. The aura gain is just immaculate. I mean, nothing really beats it. I mean, you got like a baddie in armor. You got a cute boy in armor. I mean, damn. It's such a universal, like, good, it's such an equalizer for baddies, you know what I mean? And we're going to be having a lot of skin tones and stuff, and some greeneries in the armor, especially around the neck area, because, you got the head, and then the greenery because of the scenery, right? And it's going to be some pretty shiny armor, because I don't know if you know, she's gonna be loaded as hell. I'm thinking aristocrat, like kind of a queen of a land, like kind of leading her army, And maybe this is like free time after an assault or whatever. Part-time baddie, full-time warrior type shit. Alrighty, time to add some extra little details here. Alright, I think it is time to do the hair. Just shape the head up a little bit better. I always struggle with getting the shade color for blonde hair, dude. Yeah, I just can never remember what I did before. It's weird. I guess it's time to throw some gold in there. Can't look too much worse, so I think I'm gonna add a shit ton of drip as well to try and save it. So it's the game plan, at least. We'll have to see how that goes. But one thing you got to keep in mind as well, since these are different materials, they would reflect differently. I'm thinking this would be a pretty shiny, like polished dark thing, which is super shiny. Like if you look at a black car, shiny, right? Like it's like a mirror. And gold, well, it is also super shiny. It's like a different kind of thing, like it's more matte. So that's something I'm trying to keep in mind here. See, I think I want like a little flower design in these, I don't know what these would be. these little emblems, I guess. I'm using the scribble technique, the advanced scribble technique, to add some imaginary detail here. I'm thinking this is going to end up looking a little bit more abstract than the stuff I normally do. A little bit looser, because you don't have that line art to tie it all together. But hopefully it's still coherent, is kind of my goal. I think we got the base stuff in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some highlights, and then I'm going to add some dark shadows and kind of bounce back and forth until stuff starts looking a little bit more cohesive. At least that's going to be my current plan. We'll see if that works out. So far, it's not been going well, so... Alright, now I'm going to try and throw some more line art on this to regain some clarity, because we have definitely lost quite a bit of it. I really underestimate how much line art does help with that, because it really comes in clutch for stuff like this where there's a lot going on already. So having just that simple element really lets it like breathe, I think. But I mean, she did turn out to be a little bit of a baddie, I'm not gonna lie. Not as much of one as I initially hoped. So still not the most ideal situation, but I was in an absolute drought of skill and a tsunami of skill issues. So yeah, let's see. Well, that's not the worst thing I've ever made. So here's our first armored baddie. You know, I think it turned out all right. I think my process needs a little bit of work. I think I should have done the background then sketched and worked something like that. Because I did end up making a sketch for kind of no reason, if we end up like thinking about it logically, because then I colored right over it. So I'm not too sure how this process would end up working, but I think it's a pretty solid end result, if I'm being honest here, and not the worst thing I've ever made. We got some real stinkers in the vaults that will never see the light of day, you know what I mean? Old sketchbooks are not it. I said we got time for one more, so I'll just hop into some sketching before you guys click off, you know what I mean? Alright guys, so this is the sketch that we're going to be looking at, right? Let's see. I'm thinking it'd be like a foggy, like kind of midday sort of vibe. So this is the scribble to success method. So I gotta be careful not to add too many details here, because it'll kind of get lost in the blur and look a little goofy. I'm not trying to skippity whiz up no baddies today. We're gonna be drawing a cute boy, so a little bit of throwback to last video, if you know what I mean. Sadly, he's gonna be covered up in armor, so we won't be able to riz him up too hard. No ammon over here. I'm just gonna say that. That's all right. I'm kind of thinking it'd be like distant trees. So, I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. If I'm being honest, I'm dead ass scribbling. I'm scribbling, and I got a goal in mind. Not really, but it's something. I was thinking a cool little scene to be like a knight in like a field of flowers after a battle. So he's pretty worn out, and then he like admires nature. I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? I'm doing whatever, just bodying some people instead of just enjoying nature kind of vibe. And now we quink to blow up what away. So and these sharper circles will have like a little pop a little bit more because they're sharper line. So you can kind of force some distance and stuff here. I think. I'm not too sure. We're theory crafting right now. So well, it's not going to draw itself. So we kind of just have to get to work a little bit. Dude, I wish it would though. Dude, I wish my drawing pad would just automatically draw baddies. That'd be heaven. Alright, so that's gonna be background. And I think what I'm gonna do is sketch the knight in, and then throw some base colors on, and kind of keep it a little bit simpler. And try and see if I can just skip that base color step and go straight into rendering. I'm gonna be honest though, might be a little bit of a struggle bus here. I mean, normally I ride the struggle bus when I'm drawing, but this one especially so. It's kind of weird, because I kind of have to like remake my processes, which is a little bit... I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, but I expected it to be a lot easier. I'm not gonna lie. So let's see, something like this. Yeah, that's good. And I think the colors in the background, I can kind of use in the armor as the reflections and stuff. So that should help out a little bit. I'll have to see how it goes though. We might change the process up a little bit. I'm not too sure yet. I also haven't drawn that much armor, period. So I don't really have like a defined process yet, you know? Just like purely as a repetition thing, it's just not there, so we'll have to see how that goes. And the last armor was super shiny, and I'm thinking this one, since it was used, it'd be more matte, so we wouldn't see nearly as many reflections. So that's something I'm gonna try and do. And I think I'm gonna have quite a few flowers on the bottom here, but either way, the focal point's gonna be this right here. So I'm gonna really render this part out, and then I'll kind of let the rest kind of fall a little bit lower detail. Still gonna throw some in there, but just not to the extent, you know what I mean? Is this what it feels like to be a traditional artist? You just can't spam I'm still spamming undo, but you can't just have layers? What the hell? I didn't think I relied on them that much, but I guess I did, huh? If I'm struggling right now. So, whatever, so I digital's better, so, But I feel like this challenge, if you do more traditional stuff, it's gonna be significantly easier, because you have, like, processes down, I feel like, for that. You know, where it's like you're already kind of used to having less fun and drawing in a hellscape, so... And this should visually make more sense when I get to some of the reflections. I feel like is when this is gonna come together more. So right now it looks a little flat, but I think it's a lot more easily readable, I'd say. You can kind of tell what's going on more, which is the win. In my opinion, that's all you gotta ask for. If not, you're being a needy bitch. Stop! Bro, doing tattoos would go wild. It's like 1 layer challenge for everything. What the hell? It's like the least perfect canvas as well. Like if we think of digital as like the perfect canvas, because it's it'll never go bad, stuff like that, and infinitely reusable thing. Like that's kind of what I would imagine. Like the perfect canvas would be. I feel like tattooing is probably like unobjectively one of the worst canvases if you think about it like in a practical sense. Not like bad as in they look bad, but just like worst as in I feel like I'm making sense. I don't think I actually am. Hold up. Yeah, if digital's the best canvas because it's infinitely reusable, then tattooing would be the worst canvas because it's a canvas that moves around and is naturally imperfect because it's skin. That's what I meant. Okay. But that also means when you make cool stuff on tattoos, it's like, I feel like it has more, you get more aura points, you know? Another thing to keep in mind, and not necessarily in this scenario, but just in general, is when you use line weight, because line weight is a really powerful tool. Because notice how all of this is pretty much the same line weight, all the brushes, it's the same size, essentially. But that means when you bring in a thinner line weight, like a thinner line, it's a lot punchier, it has a lot more impact. So that can be a pretty useful tool. You kind of have to plan it out a little bit. So that's where my monkey brain kind of falls short, is the planning stage. But if you're lazy like me as well, you just don't choose a different line weight ever, so then it accidentally happens. That's why highlights I like to do in like the thinnest brush across the whole thing, because it's only used in that thing, so it has pretty high contrast compared to everything else. I don't know if that's just a me thing or if that's an actual like art theory thing. I don't know what you would even call it, but yeah, I like to break down drawings, 'cause especially stuff like this where it's like, okay, it's a challenge I've never done before. It's a full scene and it's a night, so it's armor, which I've also not done that often before. That's a lot of stuff that can be pretty overwhelming. So I like to break it down into parts and kind of work from there. It doesn't draw itself, sadly, but I feel like it helps get started. Because really, end of the day, you just have to do it. But if you can break it down into more digestible parts, I feel like it's easier to start. Because I don't know about you guys, but I tend to procrastinate when I have no idea what my next step should be, which doesn't really help at all. So that's why, like, before I go to the bathroom, so I don't open TikTok, or like before I take a break or whatever, I like to kind of think of what my next steps should be. So then I'm like hyped to get started before I leave. Although I do like to finish most of my drawings in like one sitting, ideally. Just so then the vibe is captured, you know? Because, you know, if you make a drawing and then come back to it like a week later, you're like, huh, what was I thinking? Like, you don't know what you were thinking in the moment, stuff like that. I mean, maybe if you don't have the memory of a goldfish like me, that won't be an issue. But unfortunately, Boku wa stupid desu. So I think I just did the most cringe thing ever. Bro, speaking Japanese over here. Hold up. White boy tries Japanese. Hold up. I'm going to do some areas with a pretty thin line, but it'll be a like pretty select choice. Alright, and this is when we get to the really thin line art here. And a damn near white, and you really get to add in some of the woes. Tell you what, that's a little night boy right there. There we go. And I think 'tis a drawing. I do think he does blend into the background, but that was a choice. So I'm not huffing copium right now. That was an active choice. I like how it looks pretty loose, because I kind of wanted it to be more of a melancholy type of vibe, I think. And I think we did an alright job of capturing that. And then we look on both side by side, very different vibes here. I do think I like the second one more. I think the first one is the struggle is me figuring out the process. And the second one, I kind of locked in a little bit. I kind of figured out, okay, background first, then sketch over that, and don't lose the background. Or don't lose the initial sketch. Because I think that's kind of where the first one went wrong. Because I lost the initial sketch. And then you're not really too sure what to do after that, you know what I mean? Not too bad. I think this one took about 50 minutes is what it's looking like. And then the first one took about an hour and a half. So that's not too bad time-wise. First one was a lot of thinking. A lot of being like, what the fuck, I'm absolutely cooked. I'm going to quit drawing. Oh my god. And then this one was a little bit more chill, I think. So, but yeah, If you want the full resolution drawings of either one of these, got them linked in the description. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's all I got for this week. So see ya when I see ya. Subscribe, or I'm gonna DDoS your house.